Brothers and sisters, misses and misters, welcome once again to another episode of the Dented Cast, the show that has a happy ending, and we talk about deep stuff. Today, it's going to get extra deep. My name is Dobie Maxwell. My cohort is Max Bumgardner. Today, a holiday edition, or is it a holiday edition? The one comes every Thanksgiving Thursday in November. Only in America, it's Thanksgiving, Max.
Fourth Thursday in November, by the way. And last night, Wednesday night, is typically one of the biggest drunk nights in America. Rather.
After spending a lifetime on the road as a stand-up comedian, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving was always a packed house, always full of drunk, obnoxious, rowdy hecklers, just like New Year's Eve.
Right.
Brutal night.
Right. Well, brutal from your standpoint.
Well, yeah, because it's as people are self-medicating and are ready to just party, and they're all dented cans, getting gassed up and taking their childhood out on me.
Yeah.
So I feel you very much on this. So this is a special edition.
If you're waking up this morning and you did go out last night and you feel horrible, keep one thing in mind. The alcohol is making it worse than it really is. Keep that in mind. Alcohol is a depressant. Comedian Ron White talks about how he drinks a special kind of tequila because it's not a depressant. He's wrong and full of shit. Alcohol is a depressant, straight across the board. All it is. So if you are feeling horrible, remember that. That's number one. Number two, Thanksgiving, the way we celebrate it here in America, is total fabrication. Like the Plymouth Rock, for instance, didn't happen.
Some of the original fake news.
Yeah, well, yeah, it didn't happen. I mean, it just didn't happen. It happened, but not like on a Thanksgiving dinner.
So the pilgrims roll up on a Thursday,
right,
in the boat, and the Native Americans used to call them Indians. No disrespect intended. They just came out with the dinner and said, "Let's be brothers." That's the image that we get in our head.
Well, Wampanoag Indians, first of all, and the Pilgrims, second of all, which were English, basically, right?
English colonists,
yeah, right.
Coming over here.
That was supposedly in the 1600s, like 1621, something like that.
Right.
Okay, 1620, I don't know. Close. It's easy to find. But 90 of the Native Americans showed up to join about 30 of the, So
okay.
Right off the bat, you're going to be nice, okay? Because you're
outnumbered 3-1.
right. So keep that in mind, okay?
Okay.
A lot of history points to that actually happening. So that would make you, hey, what do you want? You want?
Yeah.
Right?
Just carve a pumpkin.
Yeah. We're friends, okay? So.
Quote unquote.
Right. But if you think about as a Native American, and it's so weird that we are in the grips of a pandemic, a global pandemic right now. And those guys brought sickness, from England.
Correct.
To these Indians, basically a pandemic. And the genocide on top of the pandemic that happened, if you are Native American, how do you look at Thanksgiving Day? Really? How do you look at that? But in school, we're taught, our kids put construction hats on to look like pilgrims.
Pilgrims with a buckle on their... Yeah.
Right. And the turkey, that didn't even happen. It wasn't turkey. I did some research. So, I mean, one of the...
Would they make quesadillas?
Yes,
What did they make?
it was pizza.
Pop-Tarts?
Wampanoag Indians. So what they did, they showed up as kind of a surprise to these pilgrims.
So the pilgrims are having dinner.
Well, like I said, there's a lot less of them.
Okay.
Between 30 and 50 of them. According to all accounts,
Okay.
90 Native Americans show up. So right off the bat, like we said, yeah, you're like, okay, all right. Hey, what can we do for you?
Hi, neighbor.
Yeah. So they brought stuff like venison, fowl, fish, eel, shellfish, stews, eel. Yeah, shellfish, stews, vegetables, and beer.
Okay.
Okay? Which is kind of cool, right?
This bud's for you, white man.
Right. Well, and then the guys on this particular day fired guns, ran races, drank liquor, and they were trying to speak the broken English, and it was a disorderly affair. but kind of a sealed treaty between the two groups. Okay.
Okay.
So the alcoholism and the male shooting off his mouth, that happens in every house around.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So that part's still there. And there's fights. People have fights. Have you ever heard of someone tell you about fights that break out at their family
holidays is
get-togethers?
the worst. I got to believe, to be a police officer anywhere, holidays, they have to dread it.
Yeah.
Because you have all that pent-up anger and angst and just aggression and a couple of pops, and it's gone. Pop goes the weasel. It's gone.
So who was the first president to proclaim Thanksgiving?
First president to proclaim Thanksgiving for 500, Alex. I'm going to say Herbert Hoover.
Okay. No. Abraham Lincoln.
That far back.
Well, it's interesting. He was doing it as a day to what just happened. He's doing it to bring America together.
Okay.
Like we've talked about on the Dented Cast. We've talked about if you are so down, nothing's working for you, take the focus off yourself. And I will still stand by that. I think when you give thanks for whatever it is, I mean, let's say you want to take your life. We talk about that in an episode too, the suicide episode. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to focus on something you're grateful for.
I am thankful for the rope. No, I'm kidding.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Well, to me, every day should be Thanksgiving without being melodramatic or sound like Mr. Rogers or Tony Robbins or Joel Osteen. Any one of those guys. Gratitude should be a way of life and automatic, and I think we can all train ourselves to do that, not just one day a year to watch football and eat pumpkin pie.
So Abraham Lincoln,
decreed it as a national holiday.
Well, as a day of thanks to bring the country, to unite the country together after the Civil War.
Okay, excellent.
But it wasn't until FDR made it a national regular holiday, and he did that on the fourth Thursday of every November. Mm-hmm. That's what we still celebrate.
Correct.
And now it's migrated to, I mean, what are you going to do today? If you're watching this, hopefully you've got some people you can spend part of the day with. I know Thanksgiving's been hard for you in the past.
It has been absolutely brutal because there's no place to go. And the family, they're having a party and a big meal, and it would be great to just hang out and eat, but you're not invited or you're not welcome. I know I spent many years in that situation, and it was absolutely horrible. And you say, well, I don't care. Yeah, you do care.
You do care.
You do care.
And recently, that's not the case with you.
It's not the case.
You've reunited with your family.
Reconciliation with my siblings, and the several Thanksgivings now, we've had a chance to get together, and it's really funny because I've either taken a gig or I've gone to do something to help somebody. Now, this, again, I don't, it's something that I chose to do. I was working in radio, and I was in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I had no place to go and no family out there. So I went to a rescue mission, and I volunteered to basically give out dinners. It was like from 2:00 in the afternoon till about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And these people came in there, and to see how down and out some people actually are that are sleeping in a park or, and it's like, boy, I hate to say it, you feel really good about yourself. And just to sit down with those people and eat some turkey and let them talk about themselves and just sincere interest of who they are, that'll really put a different perspective in your life. And I don't know where you live as you're watching this or what you have access to, but you do have access to a cell phone, and there are people on your contacts list that you might not have called in a while that might really love to hear from you. Just to call and say, I'm thinking about you, I appreciate you, and I am thankful that you're one of my contacts. And that will just go a lot farther than I think most people think. So it doesn't mean just because you're down and out that you have to sit there and suck your thumb in the fetal position saying, poor me, because that's the first thing that we all want to do, because we're human. We're dented cans. We're hurting. We are painful. So rather than sit there and just try to pull the thorn out of your own paw, make someone else
I agree with that.
recognized.
I agree with that. My son and I just did that 2 years ago. We went to a bread line here in town. That was great. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really, truly great.
Yes.
And we sure, you could say, well, you were doing that to get something for yourself. Okay, fair enough. Maybe I was doing that because my wife was working at the hospital, my daughter was on the East Coast, and me and my son and I didn't have anything to do that day. So we thought, rather than sit here at home and be depressed, why don't we go do something for someone else, just like you're saying?
You know, and I think they say that marijuana is the gateway drug. Let's take that the opposite way and look at this, doing it on Thanksgiving. There are people that go to church on Christmas and Easter. How about, okay, you go on a Thanksgiving and you go to their mission. Maybe you'll try it another day when it's not Thanksgiving. It's just a Thursday or a Friday or a Tuesday or any day at all, and you do something else for somebody.
And that's what we've talked about, even my son and I, since then.
Yeah.
To, rather than just on Thanksgiving, sign up for 1 day a week. Why not? It's impossible. It is impossible to be truly grateful and pissed and sad at the same time.
I agree.
It's impossible. But it's really difficult to focus on what you're thankful for sometimes. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a place to live and you got a job, right off the bat, you are ahead of billions of people on planet Earth.
As we're recording this, I am going through kidney stone torture. Well, maybe we talk about that in another episode, but something so small that to have that much pain is unbelievable. I hope you never had it. I hope you never do have to have it. But someone watching has had the pain of kidney stones. I had one about several years ago. I went into the emergency room, and my nurse was a nice lady and said, I've had 3 kids and 2 kidney stones in my life, and the pain level is exactly the same. I can't tell which is worse. And it is excruciating. And I did a comedy show as we're speaking last night, and I got up on stage and said, is anybody here in a wheelchair not able to walk? And I just went through, does anybody have stage 4 cancer? Anybody have a kidney stone so bad you bend over and you can't even? And I went through about 10 different things, and it was silent. And I said, hey, aren't you feeling good already? And it got a laugh because it was intended to be a comedy show. But there's some truth in that humor too.
There is. And you said you had a story about Thanksgiving that you wanted to share.
Yes, I have one-word memories as a kid for Thanksgiving, and I think people can relate to this as a dented can: fear. And we would sit around the table, whether I was at my father's house with the bikers around and my siblings, or at my grandma's house, who hated to cook. I hope you have good grandma memories. Maybe yours is, oh, little Max is coming over. I'm going to make him up a batch of brownies and cook his favorite. My grandma, she was German, and Germans tend to be very neat freaks, germaphobes. My grandma could iron your shirt while you're wearing it, and you wouldn't even feel it. But cooking, it wasn't that she wasn't good at it. She just hated to do it. And she was always a pressure. Well, what do you want for Thanksgiving this year? And she came up with an attitude. I'm not going to cook a big turkey for you assholes. You're going to get what I cook for you. And it was always.
Is that how she talked?
Oh, my dad was a biker. The bikers would plug their ears when my grandma was the best swearer. She was about 5'0", and she had a mouth on her that would make sailors turn purple. I have never seen anybody string swear words together so creatively. And I will say I have stolen from it in times. And people say, God, where did you come up with that bang? It's musical rhythm. It is art how she could swear.
But back to the fear that you felt.
Fear of it felt. And not so much with her. I was afraid to ask for anything because it's supposed to be Thanksgiving. And she just basically did it. There, are you thankful? And my father, that whole deal, and I'm sure it wasn't just Thanksgiving, and you can relate to this with Larry, how you'd sit around the table and there would be tension that would build. And you're just waiting for the old man to pop. And who's going to be the one, like that pop goes the weasel, to say the one thing that sets them off. And oh my gosh, you hope it's not you because there's going to be fists flying. There might be turkey legs flying on Thanksgiving, and it's supposed to be a happy time. But there's always that tension and that fear. So the happy ending of all this is that to learn to be thankful and to what Thanksgiving is really about, I think that those memories of the fear goes away. But if it's there, it is there. And sometimes, for many, many years, I just didn't want it to happen because I didn't want to be around that. That's totally not what it's meant to be. And you just told a very good thing for all of us, me included, that it's based in complete bullshit.
It is. It is.
Yes.
So when you're a dented can,
don't hang on to that.
Don't hang on to it. Don't hang on to it.
You don't have to. It's Thursday, and you should be thankful on every Thursday, not just that one.
Right.
I don't know about you. Turkey's okay. I don't like stuffing. I don't like cranberry sauce. It's not special. You eat Thanksgiving dinner every other year, so it's just tradition, and we have to. It's only in America. There are 100 and how many countries that don't celebrate Thanksgiving as a holiday.
Right.
So try to let it go.
Right. And thankfulness. You can be thankful without watching football, hanging around relatives you don't like, drinking too much, and looking at the Walmart ad on your app, on your phone rather, to see when you can get there and get some deals and go throw elbows to buy
presents for people you can't stand.
Well, it's all based in, it's just myth. It's not based in anything real. We're holding on to it for no reason. My proposal, like we just said, we'll say it one more time, is think about what you're really thankful for. I thought Dobie had a great point. If you are down today, this is a great day to pick up the phone and call somebody, and if they don't answer, leave them a great message,
A
quick.
sincere message.
Right, that just says, I'm thankful for you, and I just wanted to tell you that. That's a great idea, man.
How would you feel if somebody did that to you? And I've taken to that as I talk to Max, and that's the whole idea for this community. Max gives me great ideas, and I know I tease him about it all the time, about journaling, about making your bed. Watch some of our other episodes if you have some time today, because we do have a lot of points that sneak out whether we intend them to or not. And I think this is one that I have learned to do as well, is to be grateful every day. And start today. You can start today with just a couple of calls. 3 calls in your list, and I know you know 3 people you haven't talked to in a long time.
Thank you for watching this and being part of this community. We love you both.
And cheer up. Christmas is only a month away.